Welcome to the Chronicles of Nabahan people. Today I wanted to talk about the madness which I feel has been going on during COVID, namely the government's actual response, well, the lack of response, the flawed response, the poor response, whatever you want to call it, that's been happening over the last few months. The actual acknowledgement that we need to make, the sheer absurdity of what we're living in. This is more than a thick of it parody. This is more than a parody of Veep. This is lunacy what we're living through. We've gone from herd immunity to basically a soft lockdown. We've never really been in a lockdown, people. We've been coming and going to the shops, we've been taking our hour exercise a day, we've been going for walks, but we've never really been in a true lockdown. Now we've gone on to blaming Sadiq Khan, now we've started blaming teachers. So we're living in these mad times where the government has become the sole and only arbiter of decision making when it comes to right and wrong in a health crisis. What if the government's response is flawed? What if the public doesn't trust what the government is saying? What happens then? It's a bit mad when we think about why it is what's happening. We're living in a social, libertarian fantasy utopia where individualism is at the core of every government function. Individualism. Efficiency of the individual, earning of the individual, livelihood of the individual. Sorry, I just looked to the right because I saw a car driving by through my window, so it's become about individualism. The actual utilitarian approach of looking after the general public is gone. Now, when I mean utilitarianism, I don't necessarily mean, old school J.S. Mill, greatest happiness for the greatest number, but in terms of welfare for the greatest number. Welfare for the greatest people. Instead, it's clear that this economy has been sort of anthropomorphized into a live entity. It's almost as if the economy is a live organism that's sort of sitting right next to us like a ghost. We now have devalued the welfare of the individual, the welfare of society, the welfare of the community, below what this economic organism actually is. It's almost like it's alien, right? It's alien bursting through the belly of a human. The economy! What are we doing to safeguard people? This shows you that absolute libertarianism is flawed. When we're led by the market, we endanger human beings. The government has continually lower counted the human death rate in the UK, sticking to the ONS figures. But if anyone checks out the FT's tracker, can check out Chris Giles's Twitter feed, you can see that the actual number of deaths across the UK is actually much, much higher. The reason I wanted to make this video is, I guess, sense of catharsis, mainly. But also, I'm looking here because I don't actually have a script, so I'm kind of doing a stream of consciousness, I guess. I wanted to make this video because it seems surreal that we're not almost conscious of the devastation that's happening. We've accepted the mediocrity of government response and government action. And all of a sudden we had blame games last week, all of a sudden blaming Sadiq Khan. What's Sadiq Khan done, man? What's Sadiq Khan done that all of a sudden it's his fault? Yes, let's blame him. And all of a sudden we're seeing how this appalling surcharge that NHS workers are having to pay to contribute and work in the very system which is saving lives. It's madness. It's not funny. It's not hilarious. I'm laughing at the sheer lunacy of it all. We're living in mad times, people. We're living in mad times, and we have to ask ourselves, we have to ask the government, what are you doing? And where are the checks and balances? Why do we live in a media time and media class where who is questioning, who's cross-examining the government? We can't leave it down to Sakir Starmer every week at PMQs. There has to be a culture of accountability and not leave it to, I understand today, for example, today's Sunday. Why are we waiting for an inquiry? We're living through this now.